My man, John Johnson. Good
My
morning, brother.
man. Good morning, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Excited about a new week. Getting ready to go. Getting ready to get boring.
Man,
Boring.
Bob, what a way to start the week off by telling us that it's going to be a
Get
boring week,
boring.
ladies and gentlemen. You better get ready here for a boring week ahead.
Hey, if you don't have boring, then you don't know what exciting is. You
Hmm.
need the you need the yin to the yang, my friend. You need the opposites to appreciate what when it comes.
I love that
Because
you said that, Bob. I love that you said that.
excitement, yeah, you can fabricate excitement, but real, genuine excitement doesn't come around often. So when it does, you better appreciate it. You better love it. You better enjoy every second, every breath, every smell of it. So
Wow, wow,
enjoy
wow,
it.
wow.
Enjoy it when it gets there. And therefore, you need the monotony. You need the boredom. You need to be chopping wood, carrying that water on your shoulders every day, mile after mile after mile, so that you can get to your destination. And when you do, that's when the excitement occurs. And it's a longer lasting excitement when you go through it. You know, think about all those people who win the lottery. Okay. All of those. How many of them are there? Maybe a few thousand out of the billions in the world. Okay. Let's think about them. Okay. They are super excited. Can you imagine, John, if you won $100 million right now, today?
Oh my
Today.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay. How excited are you going to be? That's genuine excitement. But how
Yes.
long is it going to last? And what are you going to do with that money? Most people don't know what to do with that money, unfortunately. Okay. Because it wasn't earned, because they didn't chop the wood, because they didn't carry that water to earn it. And therefore, most of the people will lose it. And that's what you hear. That's what you see as the results. So monotony is not a bad thing. Monotony is what I love what Andrew put in there. I think it was Andrew. Adam, I'm sorry. It was Adam who put it out there. He put momentum Monday. Well, that's what creates the momentum. It's that constant, never ending move, move, taking action. That's what it is. I'm going to
I
turn
love
on my
it.
camera too.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, how's everybody else doing? Tampa,
Amen.
how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic now. Fantastic now.
What's that blackboard on the back in the
They've
background?
got
Where
they've
you
got a
at?
nice. I'm in a cafe, Bob. We do this business from anywhere in the
Ah,
world. So I decided today that I'd be in a cafe. I join you in a cafe, and
very
got a
cool.
nice little spot blackboard back here. So I got a little kid area, but there are no kids around.
Very cool. Very cool. Back to school. Simon, are you going to school in Tampa? That's awesome. More power to you. Dante Lopez, long time, buddy. How have you been? Miss Yolanda, hope you had a nice weekend. Carolyn, Araceli, Emilio, Franklin, Rakim. Good morning, everyone. Alex, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The blackboard in the back of John's place. I see. Sorry. Are you in Tampa though, Simon? Ooh, okay. Very cool. So what's everybody doing? Good morning, Adam. Thank you for bringing the momentum into our live stream today. Anyone run SMS campaigns? I think a couple of us do. I have two huge lists from Kind Skip Tracing that I haven't called or anything. I'd like to work something out with someone. All right, let's talk. I know John does SMS campaigns. I do SMS campaigns. I'm sure a lot of other people do too. Eating lunch, fantastic. Well, we're glad that you're here and listening.
I got an agent blowing my phone up this morning after I told her last week that, look, I just want to cancel a listing with you. I don't think that you're really working. And then, oh man, Bob, you should see how quick this agent apparently got to work.
Love
Oh,
it.
all these things are happening now. Um, Now she's saying, oh, I don't think we can sell this lot, and going on and on.
Is this the one in Atlanta or New Mexico?
This is one in Atlanta. The New Mexico one is set to close for the 3rd. I think that's
Boom.
my boy Jules in here. We're gonna break some bread on that deal. It's gonna be great. We cash
Love
out.
it. Love it. Fantastic. Congratulations. So now
Yeah.
the other one, it's getting some movement, some action now.
She's saying that she doesn't think we can sell it, but I just don't know if this is the right agent. You know, if you're not gonna pick up the phone, if you're not gonna market the property, if you're not gonna do what it takes to get it sold, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got
You gotta move. You gotta move.
got to.
The one and only, my better half, Matt Riley, is in the audience. He's going to join us on stage, hopefully, because I can't go the whole week without seeing his pretty face.
Here he
Larry, good
comes.
morning.
Here
Good
he
morning.
comes.
There it is.
There he is.
Hey, you beautiful. How's it going?
Good morning. My better half, Bob Sadai. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking, buddy.
Absolutely.
Hope you had a nice weekend.
Yeah, we had family in town. Her sister came with her boyfriend. They drove over here Friday, and then they just left this morning. So just doing a little recouping,
Yeah.
you know, how to put the pieces back together.
Yeah.
Should be
Did
okay.
they get to enjoy the mosquitoes and the whole wildlife of Tennessee there with you
Oh yeah,
guys?
we had to walk the dogs, and everybody was running from the hornets and the bugs and everything else we got out here. It was just a whole spectacle. I'm sure the neighborhood was laughing at us as we were walking down the street, and everybody's running around like crazy.
Look, urban guys, urban
Yeah,
people.
can we blend in a little bit here, please? Just hold it in when you see something. Let it out when we get back home, but don't be screaming out here. We're trying not to look like city folk around here.
Oh, too funny. AB, good morning, buddy. You got your hand raised? You should be able to come up.
I
Come
invited him
on
up.
down.
I invited him up.
Cool. So it is 8:38 Pacific time. I only have 22 minutes left. I am a hard stop today at 9 a.m. my time. So I'd love to be able to help people answer any questions. And if I can't, we've got two incredibly capable people, better than me, Mr. Matt Riley and John Johnson, here to help you guys answer your questions. So let's go. What's the easiest way to find pre-foreclosures in North Carolina if anyone has experience? I feel like PropStream isn't up to date on it. You're absolutely right. Stay away from PropStream, stay away from batch leads, stay away from those types of tools as far as pre-foreclosures are concerned. The best place for pre-foreclosures pretty much anywhere in the United States is your county, okay? If you go to the county, you can get the freshest, fastest, best leads, okay? And then all you got to do is just skip trace them and find the people, or better yet, the best is to door knock, okay? Go door knock on their doors and get going as quickly as possible. The breakdown, Emilio and everybody else, for pre-foreclosures in general is the first 30 days, okay, you're going to get about 30% of your deals in pre-foreclosures. The next 30 days, okay, you might get 6 to 10%. They drop, okay? What I'm talking about is as soon as the notice of default is sent out, okay, and it becomes public, okay, from day 1 to day 30, you can get about 30% of your deals done there. From day 31 to day 60, you're probably going to get about 6 to 10% done. And from day 60 to day 90 or closer to the auction date, okay, that's when you're going to get about 70% of your deals done in pre-foreclosures. So the closer they are to the auction date, the more motivated they are. The the lull in the middle is when they've stuck their head in the sand and they are denying everything and they don't care. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're getting bombarded by everybody. So the best leads are either the first 30 days when it's fresh. Okay. If it comes out today, you call them, you door knock on them, you have the best chance. Okay. The next one is the last 30 days. So hope that helps you, Emilio. Tell
I
us
was
your
just gonna say,
first.
Bob, do you think that middle is that psychology aspect of it? Like, oh, I'm hiding.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
this is bad right now. And then when they get to the end, they're like, okay, Hail Mary, what can I get done to make sure this doesn't happen?
absolutely. Yeah, it is. And it's not just the, I mean, a big portion of it is because they're hiding. A second part of it is, again, emotional. Hey, maybe I can come up with a solution and I don't have to go through the
Maybe
foreclosure.
I can fix this.
Maybe I can fix this. Yeah.
Yep,
Maybe I can borrow the money. Maybe I can refinance. Maybe I can, get a second job or whatever. Whatever it is, that's when
absolutely.
they drop. Patrick, what a question. Tell us your first close story, how you closed and how you felt afterwards. It's been a while, man.
I was like, I don't know if I remember.
I
To say
think
you don't
mine
remember your
was,
first, but I can't
All
remember.
right, Matt. All right, all right. You all heard him. You heard what he
No, I'm not.
said.
I'm not saying it in that sense. I also have a really bad memory, but maybe
yeah,
Bob
right.
remembers.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. One of the first ones I remember was a wholesale deal in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I got this property under contract for, I think it was like 65,000. And I was super excited. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have buyers for it. It was a new market for me altogether. And I just moved. I just moved my ass. That's all I did was just picked up the phone and kept on calling different buyers until I finally found one. How I found the buyer, I remember now, is going through social media. I found the buyer in social media, and the guy reached out. He was a wholesaler in Fayetteville himself, but he was doing quite a bit of volume, 5K, and I was out, and he closed it. I think he made like 15 or something, but I didn't care. I just wanted to make my money, and 5K at that time was 5K, was a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of money. It was
that
a
first
lot of money at
5K.
that. It
Yeah,
was it was life saving.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of my first ones.
I
You
don't
know,
know if you have yours, John.
oh, I know mine. Oh yeah, I know mine. I know mine. I worked hard for mine, man. I worked hard for mine. But I was just gonna say before, and I'd love if you want to go first. Feel free. I was just gonna say something that hit me the other day was like, I remember when I got my first. It was my second deal. I made like $4,500, and Brent Daniels, he was like, "Yeah, well now now you got a little bit of breathing room. It's like it's like you're a fish out of water. You're out of water. You got no water. Then you get a little bit of water. Now, okay, now I can breathe. But then all that really goes off to pay off your debts and things like that. Things you got to do to live. But it's not until you make five figures plus, that you actually have some things to play with, play around with. Now I can make some moves here, invest here, do stuff here. But yeah, man, I'll tell the story of how I got my first deal. So when I first started in real estate, I started with no money. I started with no connections. REI Rev did not exist. There was nobody. Mr. Matt Riley wasn't here. Bob Sadai wasn't here. There was nobody to ask any questions. I had to figure it out all by myself. And it took me 9 months of studying YouTube University every single day in and day out, watching influencers. Number one influencer that I watched was Brent Daniels. Brent, he's the man. I'm so excited. I'm flying to Phoenix on the second. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go and have a podcast with Brent Daniels on the third. I'm going to actually sit down and shake.
Seriously?
Yes, I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to say,
That's
listen,
awesome.
thank you so much,
Wait.
Brent.
3rd of November?
The 3rd of November, I'm going.
Man, 3rd of
It's in
November
like
is a
5
big day
days.
for you.
Yes, it is.
You're
I'm
you're
closing a
you're gonna sit.
deal.
You're closing a deal, and you're talking to Brent.
I'm talking to
Woo!
Brent. And I got Ryan Zolan's mastermind is that
Exciting.
same day. So it's just great
Very
things.
nice.
I'm gonna try to meet up with as many Phoenix people as I can. I reached out to Steve, see if I can get in touch with Steve and a couple other people out there. But I started with nothing, guys. I didn't have anything, and I'm nowhere near, where I want to be at yet. But I'm enjoying the process. That's one thing Matt has really helped me do is just like chill out, relax, relax. That's what Matt says, relax.
Relax.
It is true.
Relax.
It's true. Sometimes you got to relax and enjoy life. I definitely did that over the weekend. I had to relax and enjoy life, but I have to
Oh,
relax
we saw that.
and enjoy.
We saw that.
It was lit. But I started with nothing, guys. I had no money, no parents, no support, no emotional support. That's what REI Rev has been able to really give me is that support. I believe that no matter where I'm at in the world, no matter what I'm up to, I've got the right people in my corner and they're rooting for me. I didn't have that before, and that's something that you all have here. We're all rooting for you. We show up on a regular basis, Monday through Friday, to come and answer your questions because we care. We want to see you win. And so when I got started, I didn't have
Absolutely.
any of that. And I didn't even really have a car. I was using my dad's old car. Like no, nothing, guys. I should not have been driving this car, man. But I had that desire. I had nothing to lose, man. I had nothing to lose. The brakes in the car were not good. Plates on the car were expired, but I had to make it happen, man. I had to make it happen. And so I got in the car, and I did exactly what Brent told me to do. He told me, look, find ugly houses, cash big checks. All right. He made it so simple. So that's what I did. I drove around. I drove all around. I drove around multiple different cities in my area. I got familiar with the markets in my area. Where are good areas? Where are bad areas? Where are the houses built up? Where are dangerous spots? I went all over, and I'm from Maryland, so I was in Silver Spring, all through Montgomery County. I went to Howard County, and I even went to Baltimore. And when I went to Baltimore, it was crazy. It was literally GTA in real life. I saw helicopters in the sky. I really saw a guy pointing a gun at another gentleman when I was driving down the street. It was crazy, real life, like real stuff. But so I drove for dollars, and I got a list of about 500 properties. It only takes about 500 properties driving for dollars to get a deal if you know what you're doing. Okay, why? Because these lists are not heavily targeted all the time. When you're pulling a list, like from Kind or somewhere like that, these are lists that are easily accessible to other people. So there's going to be competition. Other people are text blasting these lists. Other people are calling these lists. When you drive for dollars, this data is not as easy to access because it's you creating this list. You have to visually see it, whether it's on Google Maps or you're driving to go and find the properties to add to your list. And so that's what I did. I got about 500. And guys, when I said I started with nothing, I had nothing but my time. So I had Google Voice. That was my phone number, still is to this day. And I had an Excel spreadsheet for my CRM. And I would go line by line on that spreadsheet. And we give all the resources that I'm talking about here to everybody here for free. People Looker is the skip tracing software that we pay for and give to everybody in here for free that I used to enter the address, get the owner information, put it in the Excel spreadsheet. If they didn't answer the first time, I'd have it. I could go revisit it, and I would mark the people that I called that didn't answer. I would mark them yellow to say I called them, no contact. If I called them and they picked up the phone and they told me to kick rocks, then I would go and I would mark it red. And if they said that they were potentially interested in any way, I would put it green. And I would follow up with these people until one day I finally got on the phone with someone. I remember when I drove past this house, it didn't look visibly distressed, but my intuition, something was like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there. And so I put down that address and I used People Looker, and I got him on the phone, and he was ice fishing in Alaska. He asked me to give him a call back. I scheduled my first follow up. When would be a good time for me to give you a call back, right? You don't have to go for the first call close every single time, guys. That's one thing that people need to understand a little bit more is that you're not just going to get on the phone and have somebody sign the contract right away 99.9% of the time. It is very rare for you to get on the phone and close somebody. If you are going direct to seller cold calling, it's not going to happen. You have to build rapport. You have to let them know you're an interested party. You have to discuss the condition of the property, pre-qualify the lead, and then go from there. And so that's exactly what I did. I scheduled a call for me to follow up when it was more convenient for him. He told me about his story. He was a tired landlord. He was an absentee owner, so he lived in Alaska. His brother was the other 50% owner on the deal. He lived in Washington, and they were tired of the tenant. The tenant was making improvements to the property and felt entitled to the property, but they were just tenants, and they were giving him a headache. He just wanted to be done with it. He didn't want to manage the property anymore. Okay, I understand. So he said originally that he wanted $400,000. $420,000. And at the time, I didn't know how to comp properties, so I'm looking at this estimate and it's like 20K less than what Zillow says it's worth. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's a deal. Newsflash, that's not a deal, guys. You're not going to get a deal getting $20,000 off of this estimate. You need to go and look at what's actively selling, what has sold recently, and understand what is this house worth in its current condition. All right. And then you have to go and negotiate. This is the value. This is how you get paid. You have to negotiate with the seller for a discount. Okay. And that is exactly what I had to figure out. And so, long story short, this guy kept pushing me off. No, I'm not interested right now. Maybe later. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm actually going to list this with an agent. When he told me that, I thought I had lost it all. I really thought he did. But I kept following up, guys. It's not over till it's over. I kept following up. And then eventually he said, he got to the point where he was in such distress with the situation. He said, fuck it. I'll sell it to you for $360,000. I said, okay, let me see what I can do. And I made it happen. Now, these were two old gentlemen out of state. They just so happened to be in the same place at the same time when I called them. And I had them go to a local title company to get the paperwork done. And I'll never forget this because they couldn't use DocuSign. They didn't have access to internet. I had them go to the local title company. I had the notary in the title company verify the documents. And I had them physically mail the documents to me. I had the first contract that I ever got locked up was a real signature, a wet signature, and I signed it myself. Got it delivered to my house, and I put it up on my whiteboard every day so I could see that's the proof. I have the proof. And then, so long story short, I marketed the property out. I had mentors at the time that saw the value of the property. It was appraised in its current condition for $470,000, and we had it under contract for $365,000. I made a $15,000 assignment, assigning it to my mentors. They took it down, and then they relisted it on the MLS, and then got it sold. I think for like 499,900 a few months later. So that's the story of my first deal. I then took that money and I took a huge risk. I left my mom's house, and I went off to Latin America to study Spanish and also, do what I did in Latin America. Um, and it was all worth it, dude. It was crazy. It was a crazy adventure. I'm still doing what I do now. I'm a digital nomad. I do this business from anywhere in the world. I've closed deals in Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, and Argentina, and it's only just getting started. Like, anybody out there that's struggling to get to their first deal, just know if you stay consistent and you continue to persist, you will succeed, especially because you have the proximity to the people that are actively doing this business that can answer your questions and pour into you here on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. Guys, you've never been afforded a better opportunity. Please take advantage of this and also extend the opportunity to somebody you think would benefit by sending them the link to come join us. So that's my first story of how I got my first deal.
Did you see how mine was so short and vague,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
John's
say.
was just so detailed and perfect? Love it.
That's how you know. That's how you know it like really changed and affected his life, though, is that he remembered every single detail of that deal, all the way
Absolutely.
down to like the title company, the dot loop scenario, like all the different. Because in those moments when any little hiccup was happening, he was feeling it. The
Oh
stress
yeah.
of it. Like I can see the finish line. I can see the finish line. I need this so bad. I want it so bad. And like every time it kind of getting pulled away and then going like the stress of that first deal sometimes is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. How can I go about locating a property with just the legal description? The seller didn't give me the address, but instead gave me a description. Well, if you've got PropStream, you might be able to plug it in there. Your title and escrow officer, if you've built a relationship with them, can definitely pull that for you easy. You can go to the county recorder's office and find it from there as well. Those are the three methods that come to my mind right off the bat. I don't know if you guys can think of anything else.
No, I would absolutely take it to a third party site like a PropStream or something similar,
Yeah.
and do that.
Starts off with track 6 of section 24. Yeah, that's a either a county or title company. Escrow will be able to help you out with that. Mr. Matt Riley, are you still looking for a PML on your deals? You
Always
answered
and
it,
forever. Always and forever.
right?
I like those words.
Always and forever. AAF.
That'd be a nice
I'm telling you,
tattoo.
that's why I'm so excited.
Those are
I'm
sweet
so
nothings,
excited.
right?
Oh no,
Yeah,
please
sweet
don't say
nothings
that,
all
Bob. Don't
year.
say that.
It's like a Valentine's Day, sweetest day. It's the most beautiful question somebody can ask. Um, that's why I'm excited about this opportunity that we're creating on our side. It's because again, I think it's going to be great to be able to connect private money with end buyer individuals because some people don't want to buy, some people just want to lend on deals. They don't want to actually be the operator. They don't want to deal with the real estate themselves. They just want that return. That's why
Mhm.
syndications are popular for certain people. That's why Grant Cardone makes the money that he makes because he created a syndication where there's a bunch of people that don't really want to get involved with real estate. They don't want to do the
Yep.
research themselves. They don't want to do any of those stuff. They just want to give their money and get a return for it
Yep.
and be very passive and silent in that transaction, in that partnership. And so I think it's great for opportunities for both people, for the end buyer who wants to be the operator, put the sweat in and do all the day in and day out individual things. And then there's the lender as well. It's like, I just want to partner on this and you do everything. So I think Simon will definitely find a place to be able to park his money in any of these deals.
When
If
going
it's
after an
Matt's deal,
on-market property,
yeah.
what's that?
If it's Matt's
Yeah.
deal, yeah, or Bob's deal. I got to take a look at Bob's deals, man. But those buyers, man, they were blowing my phone up. They saw those terms. They were blowing my phone up.
Bob's deal's got those extra zeros on them. They got those big boy numbers.
Bob's deals are so deep.
Hey,
You be getting big assignments on those deals.
yeah, well, in general, but not all of them. So, for example, right now, I was just going to bring up the fact that I'm sure you're seeing the same thing, Matt. Q4, a lot of
Yep.
people, high income earners, they're looking for tax deductions, tax breaks, tax write-offs. So
Penalty box buyers.
a lot of deals that might not make sense during the year, okay, will start making sense for these. I mean, take out the real estate investors. I'm not talking about real estate investors because real estate investors, if they know that they're going to be making a large amount every year, they're going to be looking for these tax write-offs throughout the year. But high income earners, they just have their head down, they're working in their jobs or whatever, and they're just, concentrating on making the money. And then come fourth quarter, and they go, "Uh-oh, I'm making too much. I gotta come up with some expenses so that I don't pay more taxes." So now they start looking at the deals that we're bringing them. So the amount of creative deals that you can sell in Q4 is in general higher than the first three Qs. That's been my experience. I don't know about you, Matt, but that's what
No,
I've
I,
noticed.
I would. I wish I would have known what I would have known years ago because I had buyers that were cost segregation buyers. One
Mm-mm.
owned 5 different title companies, so he made a lot of money, but didn't really. Every year he had to buy one piece of real estate, pretty much. That was his thing.
Yep.
And he
Yep.
had this guy Darren, who was his partner, and Darren was like in the medical space. He wasn't really in real estate. He had a W-2, high earning W-2 employee, giant tax bill at the end of the year. So he was partners with the title company owner, and they were having to buy real estate every year. And at that point, I wish I would have been more well versed and creative and all of that because I could have easily made probably $50,000 to $60,000 a year just from them alone at the end of the year Q4 when they started shopping for properties. They were referrals to me from my attorney, so he's like take care of them at the end of each year. So having to go to the bank and go through all that process and just there was a lot of hiccups and it was complicated. Had I known what I know now, again, 50 to
Yep.
60K easily once a
Yep.
year with these guys, just park it to them
Yeah.
and then been able
Exactly.
to be a resource for other individuals in their circle to be able to buy real estate anywhere too. Because at that point I was only dealing in Illinois and they were like, the property
Mm,
taxes are high, this. And so I was
yeah.
like, well, I
Right.
only can do it here. Had I
Right.
had this and everything else that I have now, I'd be like, oh, where do you want? Any state you want. Let's get a deal. I don't care.
Love
So
it.
easily could have been 50 to 60 grand a year, plus all the referrals from all those individuals that are just like them that need to park money at the end of each year.
Huge. Huge. I'm afraid I got to jump off, guys, but I would appreciate it if you could answer Ian's question. It's a pretty good one. When going after an on-market property, if the agent asks for proof of funds, how would I handle that if I don't have any money? I got to take off, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Take care. The
And
after
going
party
after an unmarket
begins. The
property is
after party begins.
club live stream.
Club Rev.
Going after on market, if I imagine you're talking cash, I know that there's websites out there that'll provide proof of funds, hard money lenders, things like that that'll provide proof of funds. I have a 50-50 thoughts on that. I think because I think because I came into the wholesale space late, I already had like an early. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Like you could go to a website and just generate a proof of funds. That just felt dirty to me. It didn't feel real or right.
That's
To me,
textbook
I'm all about
fraud.
transparency. Yeah, it's just there is such a gray area there. Now, certain people are like literally editing proof of funds to show a dollar amount. They're going in and like changing the numbers. That is 100% fraud. And then there's hard money lenders out there that have like online portals where you can type in the address and it'll generate a proof of funds for X amount of dollars. Is that fraud? I would still say yes because they haven't underwritten the deal. There's a lot of nonsense. I think it always comes down to building rapport, being transparent, hopefully having buyers in that market so you can use your buyer's proof of funds or you can have something along those lines where you're still being authentic, you're still being transparent. Using I even me, there was a deal 2 years ago, something along those lines. A partner of mine that we own four units with two units. I was doing something and I needed a proof of funds, and because we're partners, he's like here, and he sent me over his proof of funds, which had like $3 million in this account, which was way more than I needed, but that's just all he had access to. So I showed his proof of funds and I explained that we're partners. I was able to show our LLC together. I was able to, so again, hopefully you have buyers wherever you're looking. And if that comes up, being able to provide their proof of funds on that deal, it definitely helps.
100%.
I, I don't like those online generators. Like I said, that seems very no, it's no good way to build rapport. Imagine if, again, it's okay, cool, and they accept it, and then somehow, some way, they find out later down the road that that was fake, or they find that I had somebody submit one to me on a property of mine, and I saw the name of the company on top. I did a quick Google search. I made it to that person's website, and I typed in a ridiculous number, and it automatically spit out a proof of funds. So I was like, okay, now I immediately don't want to do business with you. Immediately. I had a guy submit to me when I was an agent in Chicago. He wanted to go look at a property, provided me a proof of funds. I already was very suspicious of it. It looked really simple, and the number was bolder than the rest of the text, and it kind of looked a little crooked. And he's like, "I'll give it to you." He like sent me a weird screenshot, and he's like, "I'll give it to you when we go to the showing." He's like, "I'll hand it," and handed it to me. It was like all crumpled. And I was like, this looks fucking weird. And so when we got down to showing, I wasted 2 hours of my life on a weekend. I called the lender and I had her look it up. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is fake. This is not a real, we did not. And so I called the guy and I told you, he was like, I told you not to call the lender. Like, he got all weird about it. So there's a lot of just shady activities out there. So to me, it's best to just be transparent, use your buyer's proof of funds, go that route.
Yeah, man. And I'll also say, touching on being transparent, dude, that's the only way to do business, man. Because if not, you're setting the wrong foundation from the beginning, and people won't respect you. If you just show them respect and you show them, hey, like you don't have to pretend that you've got this business figured out. If you're just getting started, you can literally just tell people, hey, look, like I'm just getting started. I'm looking to get a couple deals going. I've got mentorships, or I'm a part of a community that's helping me. People will respect that much more than, oh, I'm this guy, I'm doing 100K a month every single month. We're buying up all the properties in this area. Like, it just doesn't sound real. I feel like people really do business with real people, and if you can just be real, people will automatically respect you because you're coming from a place of authenticity.
Dude, it's so exactly. I think I've told a story here before. When I was selling my portfolio creatively, so I was getting 50 phone calls a day. It was insane. But I was able to. You can just sniff people out right away. If you've been in the business for a little bit, you can just sniff it out. You can hear the words that they're using, terminology. They start making like they'll use words that nobody really
The
uses in real estate
buzzwords, those
first. So
buzzwords.
yeah, the buzzwords that like nobody when you're actually doing the business is really using. So you know that they're brand new, and then on top of that, they're like, "My company's doing 20 to 30 deals a month," and it's like, if you're using those words, I know you're brand new, so no, you're not doing 20 to 30 a month. And I had this kid call me, and I could tell he was really young just from his voice and everything, and he can sound pretty good on the phone though. So I knew he was young and I knew he was new, but he was passing some of the sniff tests. I didn't think he was super experienced, but he kept saying, "My partners, my partners, my partners," and we've been buying this. And so right in the middle, I just stopped him. I was like, "Hey, dude, just tell me the truth." I was like, "You don't have partners, you don't have, you don't have these things." I was like, "Just tell me the truth. I much more be willing to work with you, knowing who you really are, being fully transparent. Like I love helping people. As you can see, we're up here doing this on a daily basis. So it's like, so he's like, all right. He's like, yeah. He's like, my partner is my mom. We're working on our first deal right now. So he's like, we've been doing this for the last however long, 60, 90 days calling. We're trying to acquire our first deal, blah, blah. I was like, awesome. I love that so much more. I respect you and I love that story so much more than you calling me, telling me that you're a part of this team doing 20 to 30 deals a month and you're this, that. Like, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like, I would much rather work with you and your mom, knowing that you guys are trying to acquire your first deal, go through this whole process. Like, I would love to see that success story on the back end. If we were able to close that deal and it's for him and his mom, like, that's awesome. I love that. And anybody that's really in this space, sure, there is a level of like, I want to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, of course. But like, if you at least can pass that sniff test and you know what you're doing, KYS, and I feel like I'm at least talking to somebody that understands the words and the terminology and the cash on cash, like, you know your shit, and you're still new, and I'm much more willing to work with you than some cocky dick that's calling me, spouting out this, that. Like, I don't want to work with that dude. I'd rather work with that guy. And I've been in the game for over 10 years, and I'd rather work with that brand new individual that's at least honest and is working hard than this guy that's going to call me, be cocky, and be like, "Your price too high," or this. And I don't want to work with that. I'd rather work with the transparent guy. So I think transparency goes so far. Agents get in the mix too. Like when they go on listing appointments and they're brand new agents, and they're like, "What happens if the seller asks me like how many properties I've sold before?" And you'll get agents that are like, "Just lie, just say whatever. They'll never find out." It's like, dude, even if they don't, you're going to go on listing appointments and just lie until you get your first listing or until you get your first 50 listings. So you can then say, I've had 50 listings. Like, just be transparent. I'm just starting out, but here's why you should hire me. Because you're going to be my only listing, I'm going to dedicate 24 hours to you and only you and your property. I'm going to do this on the MLS. I'm going to market. I'm going to hold 50 open houses for this thing because I have nothing else going on. So I'm going to dedicate all of my time and energy to this. You can call me whenever you want during the day. Like, you offer so much more sometimes than just your experience, because we all have to start somewhere. And if you're going to be just starting out, at least start off transparent and don't start off, like a liar. Oh,
Start
that's
off on the
my
wrong foot.
long-winded. Yeah, man. Absolutely. The whole way true. Yeah, 100%. Because especially if you lie, then you forget like what you actually said, what the lie was, and you're eventually gonna, and then if you're blessed enough to have like a platform at some point and you're actually talking in front, like that lie will eventually get exposed. You can't carry that on forever. So you just want to be, do the right thing.
That's one thing, I think everybody talks about it. Your reputation is everything. Matt, we had a conversation about that. Your reputation is everything. And
Yep.
you got to make sure that you don't ever make decisions, especially for financial gain, that could jeopardize your reputation.
I said it when we talked. Your reputation walks in the door 30 minutes before you do. You don't think that if you have an appointment with somebody, whether it's in person or not, that they're not doing some sort of digging on you a half hour before that meeting or a couple of days. Like, your reputation precedes you before you even walk in that door. First impressions are everything. Don't get me wrong. But if you already have a bad reputation going into that, you're making that first impression that much harder. You have to work that much harder just to get to the starting point because you got a bad reputation. And I've said it 100 times. I've been in the business for over 10 years. There's not a single shady transaction. There's nobody I couldn't randomly see at a grocery store where I'm like, "Oh shit, we got to get out of here. I screwed that guy over. We had a bad deal, whatever." Sure, deals have fallen apart. That's one thing where like it might be somebody that like we were supposed to close and we didn't for whatever reason, but nobody that like I've screwed over, nobody that could ever honestly say I did a bad thing or anything like that. And again, I'd rather get hung up on because I'm brand new and being transparent as opposed to getting that appointment because I told them all these lies, because now I have to carry that on. The transaction is hard enough to begin with, right? Doing real estate, it is very easy. Don't get me wrong. Like wholesaling and all that kind of stuff is very easy, but there is complicated things that do and can take place. So that's hard enough by itself. And then also carrying this lie during this entire transaction as well. Like that's just extra baggage that you just don't want.
100%. And it's unnecessary.
And what's crazy, I feel like that's like anti guru thing to say. Like, like I feel
Dude,
like the energy is always just like,
I know gurus that sell courses without dropping any names, all right? But if you're in the space, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I know gurus that sell courses that give out fake proof of funds and that tell their mentees to pose as cash buyers on Facebook.
yeah. That's why I say like majority, probably in here too, because it's just commonplace in this industry, especially on the wholesale side. Majority of who you have in your Rolodex as a cash buyer is likely another wholesaler posing as a cash buyer just to take your deal and go spread it out, probably in places that you've already posted or reached out to, but they're just taking your deal and sending it out. That's why having like a genuine, real buyers list is so important and almost rare, because if you're posting in places like Facebook for cash buyers, yeah, if you get 100 comments of emails, I would say, dude, it's probably low. It's probably like 20 to 30%. I would say maybe 20 to 30 people maybe are cash buyers in that 100, and the rest are wholesalers posing as cash buyers.
I
End
would think
buyer
10 to
here, end buyer
15.
here. Send me
And
your deals. Like you're not an end buyer. Knock it off.
see, but that's what I
And
feel
that's what
like
gives
the
everything a
marketplace
bad name.
needs, Matt. That's what I feel like the marketplace needs. The marketplace needs a vetted place where you know you're presenting your deal in front of vetted cash buyers.
It's tough. We've been talking about this the last couple of days. Like I was talking about it with another wholesaler who's doing similar volume to us, and we had that same conversation. I'm like, all right, when you post a deal on the marketplace, how do you know on the wholesaler side that this wholesaler has that contract? So could they submit the original purchase contract? Sure. Okay, but then how do I know that that I can get my hands on a purchase contract? If John Johnson has a deal and I'm like, hey man, I'm interested. Can you send me all the information? And then can you send me the purchase contract just so I know that you have it? And then you send me the purchase. Now I have my hands on the purchase contract. Now I can go post it and bring it to whoever else. And if they ask me, I'm like, oh, here's the purchase contract. So just because you submit a purchase contract or upload it on the marketplace doesn't mean it. So now I need to see whose name is on the purchase contract. And now what? You have to upload your LLC entity. So I know, like, it just becomes very difficult. So we were thinking about signing like I don't know, like a confidentiality thing. Like you consent that this is your deal and blah blah blah. And if it's not, you can be banned from the platform or something along those lines. And then cash buyer too, if you're registering in a marketplace as a cash buyer, how do you guarantee that this person is a real cash buyer and not a wholesaler? Could they upload a proof of funds? Sure. But then we run into that same vicious cycle of like, where's this proof of funds from? And is it
That's
augmented
something
in some sort of way?
that's something
It's
I've given a
tough.
lot of thought to.
It's tough. So there's definitely things that, we all think about in that sense, because you want to try to create a clean environment. Like this community, it is insane to me how you guys, you and everybody else, admin wise, like this is one of the cleanest communities that I've ever seen in terms of just like no spam, no weird bots have infiltrated this and spam the chat, or no one's gotten scammed in this group as far as I know. Like every time that we see a shady, like, hey, I'm a lender or whatever, like we get rid of it. So to run a community of this size and still be pretty clean is crazy, because usually, it's impossible to even go through the chat because it's all just spam and not even real profiles and stuff like that. So that's the toughest part about running like a marketplace or doing something like that. It's like, okay, how do you keep it clean, authentic, safe? So what you're uploading is being presented to the right people. You know that if somebody presents themselves as an end buyer, that they're really an end buyer. if somebody comes on and registers as a private money lender, that's the big, like, end buyer and wholesaler are like, okay, but when the lending side of things, that's where all the scams take place. All of these people posing as private money, and then they're like, oh, you have to pay me a $500 origination fee though first for me to get started on the file. And these people will send them 500 bucks just to like Zelle or something, and it's a scam. So it's like making sure that private money, that's the biggest like scared, like how do we make sure that you are an actual private money? Because private money isn't like an institution. You don't have you might not even have like a company name, or you're not a licensed lender. You're just a guy who has a 401k account or like whatever it is. So that authentication part is tough there.
You gotta hold the money, man. You gotta deposit it.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's it. That's the only way that
That's true
I've been
too.
able to think of, is just like having people deposit $5,000. You know what I'm saying? If you're a really cash buyer, if you really want to take this serious, put down $5,000. And then there's maybe a
If you
way where you
go,
could facilitate, where your entity puts the $5,000 in non-refundable down when they say, I'm going to buy this property, and it takes that credit from their account and like puts it down.
yeah, if you go on like auction.com and like those foreclosure websites, when you're bidding on an auction property, that is part of that, where you have to put down a earnest money deposit through the website, and then if you win, then you already put down X, let's just say 5%, and then you owe the rest after you win the bid. And then if you don't, then you just lose out on the money that you put up already. But that's how it. So it's already, you've exactly like you just said, it's already in the system. So we have the money. It's being held in our escrow account of the website of the marketplace. And then once and if you win, you owe the rest. And if you don't win, it gets credited back to you.
There's a unique opportunity that might present itself there too. I don't know what type of what type of investments you can get up to with that money, legal investments, but I'm sure there's probably
Yeah,
something you
yeah,
could
yeah.
do to leverage that asset.
If you're holding X amount of dollars at one point at any
Yeah.
at any given time, yeah,
How do the banks do it? How do
yeah,
the banks do it, Matt? These scoundrels. How do the
yeah.
banks work?
It's called fractional lending.
There you go.
They
Fractional
get all the
lending.
money. They get all the money, and then they loan it all out. Yeah, banks aren't even, especially during COVID, they came in with new regulations that allowed them to fractional lend even more money. So banks are holding the least amount of money that they've ever held in the basically history of banking, because they've been able to loan it all out. That's why, like, during COVID and after COVID, you see all these videos of people going in to try to get money out of the bank, like large sums that usually are okay, but you might have to call ahead. They're trying to come pull out 5 grand or so, and the banks are like, "We don't have it. You have to give us 2 days notice to come pull out 5 grand, or you got to call ahead for like what used to be fine, because they don't hold money like that anymore. It's already gone. It's already being lent out. It's already in
It's
the
crazy.
world. So yeah, there's probably reasons why websites like auction.com and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it makes it verifiable now because you gave us the money, so we know that you're real.
Right.
But I'm sure there's some unique benefits as well that come along with that type of system, where it's like, oh, now we're holding probably $1 million or more in cash on a daily basis.
There you go. There you
What
go.
can we do with that? What can
Hey,
we do
this is
with
the
that?
creative king right here. So he's gonna figure out some creative way to put your money to work. Know it. Hopefully, I can help.
Yeah,
I'd like
it's
to.
safe. It's safe with me. I
It's
got
it's
that. I
better.
got
It's
that.
better in
It's
his
safe with me
hands.
face.
It is.
Safe with me. I'm the poster child of it's safe with me.
There you go.
Anything else? I've seen gurus tell you to pretend to buy the deal and just transfer the LLC to the real buyer. Yep. And hopefully, I don't know, man. Hopefully, we're doing, if we do anything in this group, in this community, and these live streams or whatever else. At least if you can identify when you're, because again, you could throw a baseball and hit five quote unquote gurus nowadays and courses and things like that. So if anything, hopefully this, whatever you've learned or heard in here, at least allows you to identify that type of thing, like a scam. I don't even want to call it a scam. It's just bad practice. Because what they're telling you to do isn't necessarily a scam. I mean, it depends on what they're telling you to do, but a lot of
I
times
feel
it's
like
just
it's
bad
fraud.
practice.
I feel like it's fraud. I'll call
Yeah,
it what it is, dude. It's
it definitely
fraud. They're
could be.
telling you to fake it till you make it, dude. Go make it, man. Go make it. Stop trying to
Yeah,
fake it in life. Really go accomplish something. Go become someone. And then you can be who you are. And people will respect who you are because you've developed a character that you can be proud of and you can show up as yourself and command respect, go become someone. Stop trying to fake it. Stop trying to post online. Stop trying to act like you're this and that. Really do it. And then nobody can say otherwise, bro, because you are that guy. Go become that guy. Go become that woman. Become successful. Stop trying to fake it. And don't, when you're on your way up, when you're trying to become successful, when you're trying to establish yourself, position yourself to succeed and build your character with the correct values, because you will align yourself with other characters that have the same values, and you will ultimately conquer whatever it is that you're pursuing.
100%. Yeah. Like, everybody has their own character traits. Everyone has that moral compass inside of you. And so if you're learning from somebody, because again, we're not the only two here, Bob, me, you, Bob, Dan, everybody else that jumps up here, we're not the only people in this space. So we know that when you're done here, you're going to go get the information from other sources and platforms, just like all of us do. And so all of us have our own moral compass and what we know is right and wrong. And regardless of what this person is telling me to do, I know that doesn't, even though I'm not experienced in this field, I still know right from wrong, and that doesn't seem right. And until I get a proper explanation of how that could be right, that's not who I want to associate myself with. I don't want to do those practices. I don't want to, I want to do the right thing. Even if the right thing maybe takes me an extra couple weeks or months or whatever to get to where I want to be, I'd rather do it the right way and get the right experience and not screw people over, because we've talked about it 100 times. The what we do in here has real life consequences. I don't care how low of barrier of entry this is. None of us need degrees or licenses or anything to do this field. So it can be very fantasizing because, oh, we don't have to do it. We don't have to go to school for this. We don't have to have a certain amount of money. We can just get in this and do it. But this business has real life consequences. We're talking about real people in these things. Sellers and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles, dads, that all rely on us to do the right thing. So I think it's always important.
100%. We're doing deals with real people with real estate. All right, this is real life.
Oh,
It clicked for
real
him. Did you see
people,
that? Did you see that? It clicked for him. He had his light bulb
Ooh,
moment right there.
real people, real estate.
Heard what he said. Heard what he said.
I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, ladies and
All right.
gentlemen, that's it for today. Matthew, thank you so much, sir. We greatly appreciate you. If there's anything I can do, man, you let me know. That goes for everybody in here
Likewise.
as well. But please, when you do, reach out, anytime you reach out to somebody, don't reach out with an ask immediately. Please reach out with some sort of offer, offer something, offer your time, offer your skill, offer something, because we're busy, we don't have time to get and put our hands in all these pots, all these fires. We got our own stuff going on. Even if it's a JV, run the numbers, make sure it's a deal. Don't have us run these numbers. Run the numbers, present something to us, please. And this isn't us trying to shit on you. We're trying to really work with people that really want to work. So let's get to work. Let's make today an awesome day. It's going to be a monotonous Monday. We got to chop wood and carry water. The grind doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? If you wanna live life and spend without looking at the bill, you gotta work without looking at the clock. All right, so who's ready to work without looking at the clock? Let's get to it today.
It was always one of my favorites. And on that note, peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them the link, discord.gg/REI Rev. Who's going to the club next week? Let's go to the club. Club Rose.